Good morning, Ollie.
Morning.
Morning. You've had two fantastic team performances against both Newcastle and PSG. How important do you think that was for the belief and the confidence for your side?
Of course, it's very important. Players, if you lose games, you're determined. You want to win the next one. You want to bounce back, and I could see that focus before the Newcastle game. And of course, after you win against PSG, that gives you more belief and confidence. So two very good performances, two good results. But then now it's the next game, and that's what we're focused on.
Chelsea, of course, it is next, and they've made a lot of changes over the summer. How would you assess their start to the season?
Well, it's like many of us, there's been some very good games, some lesser good performances, and I think football is just settling now. I think teams are getting into their shape, and we know it's going to be a tough game against Chelsea. We had four games against them last season. I think maybe 4 or 5 the season before. So it's two teams that know each other really well.
James Cooper.
Morning, Ollie. We haven't seen an awful lot of Donny van der Beekers yet. He's not started a Premier League game. Is that down to fitness, competition with places, or just kind of an integration process because it's something new?
No, Donny is fit enough, but of course it's competition for places. It's giving him time to settle in and just adjust to his new teammates. It's a new league. He's a absolutely top footballer, top personality, so humble and hardworking, but also, of course, eager to play more. So. And as I've said so many times, you'll see him throughout the season. It's going to be a long season, and he's impressed me.
I just want to ask you about Mason Greenwood. Hopefully he's fit. You've played alongside people who are going to be the next big thing at Old Trafford. You know the pressures that come with that. Just take us through what the club does to make sure that progress is smooth and some of the pressures are made easier for people like that.
Well, I think the club, we have a great record and tradition and history of bringing our players through. That means from early on you get good habits. We trust you. You can express yourselves. And Mason's gone through this program. He's done fantastic, and he'll be kicking on, I'm sure. Of course, he's a very, very exciting boy to work with.
Simon Sean.
Ollie, are you a little bit concerned that he's making a bit of a target for himself?
Who's making a target of himself? Mason?
Yeah.
Well, you do when you play well, and that's I'm not concerned at all with Mason making a target of himself, because he's come in, he's played fantastic. He played his first league game against Tottenham last season, was brilliant and just kicked on. He's made a mistake this summer with England, and suddenly the whole English press go after him. And that's something that we've got to look after. He's a fantastic boy to work with. I have to disappoint you, he's never ever late for training. He's never a problem when he's in the training ground. He's always on time. I've seen the stories. There's some ex-United players talking about him, and they don't really know anything they're talking about, because, we got photographers outside the training ground every day, so they can see he's on time every day. So I don't know where these stories have come from, and I've just got to say he's got a good family behind him. He's had a good background in the academy and up. And he's a good trainer. He trains really well. And I cannot believe all these stories about him not being professional. So anyway, that's something that we have to deal with many players. Many other players at United have had that.
Just in terms of your team, I mean, you've had a fabulous week. That's 10 in a row away from home now. Yet only 1 win in 5, including last season. 2 obviously pretty bad performances at home. What is the difference between playing away and playing at home? Because you've got 3 big games coming up.
I disagree with the 10 in a row, because we lost in the semi-final against Chelsea and we lost to Sevilla in the semi-finals. For me, they're the 2 away games anyway. But then, okay, they're neutral. But No, we need to, of course, address the home form. We need to look at the way we prepare, maybe something that I've got to deal with. The whole lockdown period has made us do things differently at home. So we might have to do it a different way.
Simon Peach.
Morning, Ollie.
Hiya.
You're obviously missing a few players the other night. Is Harry Maguire available? Will Mason come back in? And what's the situation with Edson Cavani? Will he be available to play tomorrow?
I hope and expect all three of them to be available for selection. Of course, we got a training session this morning, but yeah, I think, or they've got a chance, all of them. There's two different reasons to. So Edinson, he wants to tick all the boxes that he's gone through in his program and feel ready to make an impact. So I think his last preparation was going to be today, and then I'll have a discussion with him. And it seemed positive yesterday with both Mason and Harry. So hopefully.
Marcus was the talk of the town in Paris the other night and continues to be for his work off the field. Is there anything left you can say about him and the work he does?
Probably not. But he's now at the stage, you know, we all speak about Marcus as this experienced boy, and he's 23 soon. He's just like a twilight between being a talent and being experienced, and you can see more and more of that experience coming out. And we hope and we trust that Marcus's background with his family is going to keep him just developing and kick on in his career, because that now is round about the time that you'll see him, like, hopefully divide himself from being a good player to being a very, very good player.
Carlson. The frozen pair.
Yes, Peter.
Yeah.
Hello, hör du mig?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess that you have observed what's happening on the Norwegian national team right now, Ollie, and with the inside leak and public discussion between Alexander Sørloth and NFF, and I'm just wondering, regardless of which team it is, how damaging is it, this sort of leak and communication, and what do you think about the handling in this case particular?
I can't comment on this case, but of course, in a group, in a team, you're like a family, and you've got to say that you're disappointed if things come out from the dressing room, but and especially if they're true. I've had many stories leaking out over the United dressing room, which is not true. So that's a different story, making stories up. But when it's confirmed from inside the discussions, I'm sure the national team coaches and leaders are disappointed.
James Sundra.
Ollie, it's the first game back at Old Trafford tomorrow since the 6-1 defeat. Would victory tomorrow erase the memory of that and almost complete the comeback from that day?
I don't think anything will erase that memory, and because it'll always be in the history books, and we've always got to live with having that result and having that performance. You can look back at the performance and different reasons why we ended up with that result, but we've got to focus on moving on, going forward. And it's happened so many times at this club that you've had results that maybe come out of the blue, or the setbacks that you have to bounce back from. And so far we've bounced back well from it, but it's now about consistency.
Last one in this section for Andy Mitten.
Hi, Ollie, can I ask you about Axel, the way he played, how he's been training and what his future is likely to be now after so many injuries?
It was a great performance by a kid who's not played for 10 months. Delighted for him, because he's such a professional character. He wants everything. He works really hard. He's been really, really thorough in his rehab, and very pleased for him now to get the consistency, of course, in his performances. got to stay injury free. We've got to manage that. That's mine and his job, and the physical staff's job, of course. But I think he can kick on. He's a leader. He can play centre back, right back. He can play centre midfield. He can play many positions. And he's a boy who takes responsibility for his own development. So now it's about, and I'm sure he's doing everything he can to have a long career at United. So hopefully we can get this consistency.